Welcome back to Across the Gridiron, and Matt is away, so you've got Eddie. So you've got the solo edition. It kind of sounded better in my head when I said it. But yeah, so you've got me, and we're gonna look at the games. We're gonna look at what it means for the playoffs. We're gonna look at week 15 and the answers that gave to us. So we're gonna break it down. What happened in week 15? Cowboys, come on, guys. So let's break that down. But before I do that, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Please, follow the channel. And also, we do have our Twitter page as well, X page, Across the Gridiron. Follow us as well. And let's continue to grow this. Guys, let's go into this. Okay, so I'm going to start in the AFC with this review and the Bills versus the Patriots. When I did the prediction show earlier on, I talked about how important this game was for the Bills. And it wasn't because I thought that the Patriots were, a bad team or anything like that, but I thought that the Patriots could afford to drop this game and not have any concern. But for the Bills, it was about solidifying where they were in the wild card. So this game meant a lot more for the Bills. And Josh Allen will be looking at it and thinking to himself, all the quarterbacks that are there, there's no Mahomes, no Lamar Jackson, no other quarterback that people are kind of putting in that elite status. So of all the quarterbacks that are around, I would think that Josh Allen will be quietly confident about getting to the Super Bowl with the Bills. I think anything short of that is going to bring a huge amount of pressure to not just the Bills, the team. We're talking about Josh Allen is going to be under a lot of pressure. The coach is going to be in a lot of pressure, as well. So, well, listen, I think the Patriots will be fine. They're going to bounce back. This was just a divisional game, and I think the Bills wanted that more. So, I'm not concerned about the Patriots. I think they're going to be strong going into the stretch. But congratulations to the Bills because they really needed this one. Okay, I'm gonna go to the NFC for our next game, and that's the Rams against the Lions. Rams 41, Lions 34. And honestly, nobody will want to face the Rams. And if you say it very quietly, the Rams are terrifying right now. I talked about, the combination that I believe matters when you're going for a Super Bowl stretch. You need a good quarterback, you need a good coach, and you need a balanced team. And the Rams are everything like that. They don't make a lot of mistakes. They don't punish themselves. They score, they defend. I know that the scoreline doesn't say a lot about the defending, but they made that one important stop that allowed them to win this game. And they went into Detroit and out executed the Lions in a game that felt like a playoff, right? So, I mean, they are finishing drives, they're creating explosive plays. Devontae Adams is getting busy. Matthew Stafford, clearly the MVP right now. I don't see anybody who else is going to take that spot from him. And they are playing disciplined football. The Lions are still good, but this is what the Lions have been doing, all season: win one, lose one, win one, lose one. They just need to hope that the rotation is not in the playoffs because they could be one and done if they win the last game and then don't win the next one in the playoffs. But I think the Rams are a legit threat right now. And with what's going to happen in the next team that I'm going to be talking about, I think they stand a very good chance as any to actually get to the NFC Championship and represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. Which actually brings me to the next team that I want to talk about, the Broncos Packers game, and specifically about the Packers. Now, I'm a Cowboy fan, but I do have a soft spot for Micah Parsons, and it's really, really terrible, the news about the ACL injury. Um, it's so tough. It's tough because um, I think Micah Parsons, I thought this was the year, and it's so ironic that it coincided on the same Sunday where the Cowboys were effectively out of the playoffs because I know mathematically they're not out. They have to win the division in order to get in. But you're asking for the Eagles to lose three straight games and the Cowboys, to win all their games. I don't see that happening. And spoiler alert, I think the Cowboys will lose against the Chargers. I think the season is done. But I'm talking about the Packers here, and the Packers were well into this game, and everyone was playing well, and then of course that injury to Michael Parsons just actually changed the momentum, of the game. Broncos won this game 34-26. And listen, the Broncos have got a very good defense. I don't know. They've got a good coach. I'm not sure about the quarterback, but so far so good. He's answering all the questions that are being asked of him. The Broncos are winning games. They're now sitting, quite pretty in the playoff picture right now. Right now, they're the number one seed, with 11 wins, as well in that playoff picture. So you've got to be looking, at them. I said 11 wins, actually 12 wins. They're 12-2 right now, sitting, in that number one seed. And of course, they're qualified, for the playoffs with that record 12-2. Now, can anybody actually get them off that number one seed? It's going to be difficult. I think the Patriots potentially, have, a chance to do that. But the Broncos just keep doing what they're doing. The next couple of games, when I look at it, the next couple of games actually quite decent, right? They play the Jacksonville Jaguars, I mean, just look at those wins. They haven't lost a game since they lost in week 3. That is just relentless. And they've won against teams like the Dallas Cowboys, Houston, Texas. They won against Kansas City Chiefs. Now they've won against Green Bay. And these are all quality wins that the Broncos are having. And yeah, I know what you might say. And I say that as well in terms of how they are winning these games. But their defense is coming up trumps. I expect them to win against Jacksonville Jaguars and sweep Kansas City Chiefs. So maybe they lose that last game against the Chargers, but it will not matter at that point in time. But they're in the playoffs, and now it's really about how badly do they want that number one seed, right? Do they want to keep on going, or is it enough to get into the playoffs? Because that's the tricky thing. You cannot afford to let go of the gas at this point because you don't want to carry in bad form into the playoffs. So, yeah, Broncos are doing very well. Let's segue now to my team, the Dallas Cowboys. Honestly, I had a lot of hope after Arsenal. Said Arsenal. You can see I support Arsenal as well. After the Cowboys beat the Chiefs and they beat the Eagles, and I thought, yeah, we could win out. We could actually do this, get into the playoffs, but no. Um, Lost again to the Vikings at the worst possible time, and then we lost to the Lions. Listen, I think it's done. Questions to be asked. Cowboys. Jerry Jones has got a lot to answer for. Um, it always feels like this team just gives you hope. But I think the record, the history tells you of a pattern. The Cowboys are not going to win anything with Jerry Jones and the family in charge. It's just not. I mean, if you're a company and you've for 3 decades you've had the same sort of result, at some point, you've got to ask questions. And yes, the Cowboys are very good. They market very well. Everybody talks about them. And they always seem to generate all the buzz. But the reality is that people, as painful as it is, the people, football people know the Dallas Cowboys don't actually go far. They don't actually do anything, which is gut-wrenching, as a Cowboy fan, amount of effort we put into watching the games from across the pond. And listen, you want your team to do well, but I thought the Vikings were a team that we could actually win. And everyone that we play, we just make their quarterback dreams come true. All the quarterbacks look like prime Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. They all look brilliant when they play the Cowboys defense. Surely at this point, Matt Eberflus' job should be at risk. Surely it has to be questions asked because it's been terrible. It's been terrible. Okay, don't want to turn this into a Cowboys run, but yeah. I think you can say these are two teams that, not going anywhere. So it was a meaningless game, and it will probably be a meaningless game when we look back at it. Now, and this is the one, I think this is the game that was gut-wrenching for everyone because nobody wanted to count the Chiefs out. I'm talking about the Chargers and the Chiefs. Chargers win this game, and hey, Chiefs are now out of the playoffs. And of course, we had the news. Patrick Mahomes also got injured, blew out his knee, and it must be tough. Um, I don't know what the Kansas Chiefs are gonna do. Do they now just, make the season right of the season and just focus on rebuilding, right? I know the pride in a lot of the players they might think, actually, let's just go ahead and finish the season strong. But you might need those first round picks, next season to actually, because it's probably the first time in a long time that they will be picking high and considering their record. So do you just, preserve your draft status? There are a lot of teams that are going to be asking that question. And it sounds, ridiculous for the Chiefs to be doing that, but hey, they've got to answer the same questions as well. Um, a couple of games that I just want to touch on before I round up. So Eagles 31, Raiders 0. Listen, the Eagles needed this game. I didn't expect them to lose. The Raiders are a terrible team. Shutout win looks impressive. They've stopped the bleeding, but I think Eagles still got problems. I don't expect them to go far in the playoffs. It was a necessary win, not really a convincing one, but a necessary one. The Eagles still need to prove that they've actually fixed their issues. I think that's the reality in this game. But it was one that they needed. And, they're most likely going to win the division, so congratulations to them. But yeah, going to move on from that. Jaguars 48, Jets 20. Now, the Jaguars are now becoming a legit team that you need to reckon with because right now they're sitting in that AFC standing and then the number three seed right now. And, won 10 games, lost four, sitting atop of their division, right now, which is, I mean, that division has always been one of those where people don't take very seriously, the AFC South. And you've got Houston Texans who are also, looking at that and thinking, we've got a shot to get in. I mean, the Texans right now are sitting on that final playoff spot, with the Colts now sitting outside of that. I suspect that probably that's how this is going to finish. I don't see the Chargers collapsing. And I think the Bills have really solidified. They probably need one more win, to guarantee themselves into the playoffs and, solidified in that sixth seed at the minimum. They've got a chance to get to fifth, but I'm sure they just want to get into the playoffs, which would be great, from their perspective. But the Colts, probably the biggest collapse, of an NFL team in recent times. They've got Philip Rivers who've come out of retirement to come and play. And I mean it was a good moment to sort of see him. I watched that game and I kept thinking, oh my goodness, he's gonna get hit. This is a guy that's probably my age, playing in the NFL. And that is impressive. It really is. But I think that this is just um, for unfortunate for Fortunate for, I just realized that I've been talking without my microphone for such a long time. And I've done two recordings without that, which is just terrible. So the sound is going to be awful. But I do apologize about that. But yeah, look, if we just look at the week 15, Rams scary, Bills definitely in that playoff hunt. Broncos still the team to beat in the AFC, and the Jaguars are just quietly, being ruthless. Obviously, Chiefs are out of the playoffs. Packers are losing their grip now, especially with the loss of Micah Parsons. We don't know how that's gonna go. So, guys, that's week 15. The playoff pictures are shifting, pressure is exploding, and some teams are now one bad Sunday away from their season being over. Let me know in the comments what you think. Which team scares you the most right now heading into January. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll be back reacting again next week. But actually, I'll also be predicting a couple of games as well. So I also have Matt's pick while he's away enjoying himself in Spain. I'll be looking at the games that what we expect to see of week 16 in the NFL. I'll see you at the next Across the Gridiron. I'm the bad guy. I'm the